library exits, go this way because that will be locked, but if you get that open, go around the corner. I'm terrible at giving the exits. Anybody else have any tips on the exits? Mostly that way.
It's the light. I'm going out that way.
All right, thank you. Comments and questions from the public not related. Let's see. Additions and deletion to the posted agenda. I want to add an action item to number 8, the Library Foundation report, so we can vote on the rate of directors. Other position. Minutes. Minutes. I have on the to approve the minutes. Have a second. Any discussion? No, thank you. Right, all in favor of the minutes? Let's see if you want to put it. Oh, they're all. You're good. You're good.
He's done this before.
That was delightful. All right, chair remarks. I know. Yes, well, we'll see if Ted has any additional chair remarks. But applications are due May 20th for there are 4 board seats. There are 3 for 3 years and 1 for 2 years. So if you know anybody.
I do know that we've had 5 applicants.
Oh, great. Okay, that's awesome.
So far. And of the 3 people who are renewing, 1 person has not turned in their renewal application. So I don't know if I can say it in the meeting, you know, who it is, but.
So poker.
Yeah.
Poker.
It's okay, keep on that. I think you guys, okay, friends of the library.
Okay. For April, we made $113 in the shop and $399 in the kiosk downstairs. It's for a total of $512.13. That's actually our lowest month.
Yeah,
It's quite well. But at Illuminate Vermont, we had a 2-night kind of pickup book sale, and we made $716.75. And had a lot of good PR. A lot of people came in and were like, you know, we have a bookshop upstairs. They're like, really? So that's almost as good as the book sales. They're kind of get families coming in, and you know, we have children's books, and they're like, oh,
that's great.
So our winter concert, our last one that we had to postpone, is this Saturday at 12 noon. John Hughes is coming, and he's going to be singing and playing his African flute, the kora. I think it's quite a lively performance. So everybody's welcome, and as usual, they're free to the public. So we have the story walk update. The posts are in through the whole thing now. So Sue and I walked it, a week ago Monday, and they just had a few posting coming from Barrett Street. So we weren't sure which direction it was going to go, whether it's going down to the Goose Pond or up toward Garden Street. So it turns out it's going up toward Garden Street. But there's a map that Ted has, and maybe at some point we can put it up there, but it'll show you exactly where the posts are. And the grand opening will be Tuesday, July the 7th at 5 o'clock. Our only concern right now, Bree, do you happen to know, are they going to charge to park all the way down on Market Street?
I have no clue. I haven't seen anything about the parking plan. The person who's in charge of the parking plan is Alana Blanchard. I'm not sure that it's been released to the public, or if there is a public facing plan yet.
Okay, that's kind of our only concern, is since it starts on Barrett, we didn't think people wanted to park there because that's just a residential street. And then we're not 100% sure where it ends on Garden. And I don't know whether you can park in those parking lots behind the apartment buildings, or whether those are just for resident. So parking may be an issue here.
So where is the grand opening going to be?
It's in the city center park.
Okay.
You know where the Goose Pond is?
Yeah.
you take that little path inward just a little bit and there's a little playground in there.
Okay, great.
At least that's my understanding, right?
We lost Stacy too, just to let you guys know.
Oh, she must be in it.
Thank you. We can hold off all of our voting. Oh, wait, no, we still need. Okay, we need to wait. See.
If Stacy's not live, we need Ted.
Yeah.
I think Mary can continue with her report.
Yeah, I got just a little bit more and then I'll be done. In the bookshop, last Saturday, we got a donation of beautiful $100 books, the greatest books ever written.
Oh.
And they're leather bound with 22 karat gold trim. I mean, they're absolutely gorgeous books and they're like brand new. They've hardly been opened. There's 100 of them and
Right now.
most of them are fiction and like Tom Sawyer.
Yeah.
But some of them were nonfiction, the Iliad, and you know, that kind of thing, so, they're very impressive, so we're gonna discuss how to feature them for the book sale in October. I read the article for summer reading, and it should be coming out, I think, this week, all has gone well, you know how you don't know once you turn it in.
Right.
And do we know when the other paper is going to just be, you pick it up?
I don't know.
I looked online, but I couldn't see anything.
They're gonna stop mailing that. They're gonna stop mailing the other paper. It's gonna stop.
Oh.
Oh, I didn't.
I did not know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
I didn't know
so
that.
we got ours last week.
We got ours today.
Where, we don't know where they'll be,
I don't
just
know where
like
they'll
7
be.
days kind of a thing.
Yeah, it'll be just like 7 days.
So it will be still printed, they're not
Yes.
moving completely to
That's my
digital.
understanding.
Yeah, they won't be mailed.
Okay.
Maybe a factor of the function of the mail
Yeah,
irregularity.
right,
I mean,
yeah.
it's not as scheduled as one might hope.
Oh, that's nice.
I've got a Stacy.
Just texted me to say she hit a bad spot, she'll jump back in as soon as she can start.
And lastly, the library staff appreciation brunch is now scheduled for Friday, June the 12th from 8:30 to 12:30.
8:30 to 12:30 or 8:30 to 10:30?
I'm sorry, 10:30.
Okay, cool.
That'd be a long brunch.
Well, served that.
We're very hungry.
So do we do a library, do we do a staff appreciation brunch? Does the board do that? We have not yet done that.
I think the premise behind that was that I heard from feedback from staff that they really enjoyed meeting, you know, the people who help the library, who help support the library, because like they might know, oh, Mary, but you know, when you see someone come into the bookshop, like you don't know who they are or whatever, just getting to know the folks better. So I think if the trustees or the foundation wanted to do something similar, it's nice. It is often hard to find a time where all the staff is kind of together.
It made it this week. So.
11 hours ago, was summer fun for everyone.
I also believe that day is volunteer appreciation day, like a national holiday.
Oh, okay. Well, we do it because the staff does a lot for us. They, you know, take care of all the book sales when we're not in shops.
Yeah.
If we want them to know how much we appreciate it.
Do you all have do you wear name badges?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, do you have name badges, Mary, with your names, or did they just say like volunteer?
I have my name on it. Some say volunteer if you're like a volunteer that hasn't
Graduated.
been there long
Yeah.
enough to have their own name.
Long standing.
Yeah,
Well, that's for staff.
because I think Henry doesn't have one that has his name on it. It says volunteer, but
Okay, we'll have to get Sue. Took us a while to figure out after we lost Elaine, we had to go back and refigure on how to do that. But we know how to do it now. I'll have Sue work on it. He's been our Sunday person. So. He's great. Yes, he's been fabulous. He's wonderful. Okay, anybody have any questions? I'm good. Okay, we took up the time before 10.
I know Stacy.
No, Stacy, I admitted her, but then she disappeared again. Well, let me think.
I could skip to Bree's report.
Tend to be, but. All right, sure. I guess we'll skip to the director's report. Is that okay? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that would be great. Let's do that.
Okay, so you want me to,
Sure. I'll call you or someone on their cell.
Sure. You wanna tell
Can
her?
you? Sorry, we're trying to get Stacy.
Okay, she's calling. Hi, can you hear me?
I can, Jenny just put me on mute and I'll let them start.
Yep.
No, this is awesome. You're our quorum. Stacy.
Okay. Now,
Alright, so then you can do your.
Okay, fantastic.
what do you gonna do?
This is great. All right, so
Oh, whoops, I need to be on mute. You don't have to put me on mute. Sorry.
Okay,
you can just double mute her if she wants. Oh, I see. If we're on mute, she can't hear us. Okay, foundation. We've got 2 new members of the foundation board. Hopefully, we're gonna. Okay, thank you, Mary.
Thank you.
We're gonna vote on. Donna is coming back. Yay! Katie Huggett has been a volunteer for a long time. And I sent a message explaining this. It seems weird that we vote on the directors of the foundation. But for tax purposes, to be the easier kind of charity, somehow, if we're a supporting organization, we have to have some kind of symbiotic relationship with, so it doesn't like we're out and funding, giving grants to other organizations or something. So this is sort of the way we figured out to make us one friendly group. So this isn't like the officers, we will do that at the foundation meeting, but so for now, I would make a motion to approve the proposed slate of South Burlington Library Foundation directors as approved by the Foundation Board at its May 7th, 2026 meeting. So I have a second for that. All right. And all those in favor?
Do I get to vote?
We're in a different house. I'm on here too.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
My other question to that, I think you did.
Thank you, Stacy.
thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Yeah, the foundation, we're working on the spring appeal. And we're asking, it's gonna be about 120, I think, lapsed donors we're asking, and we're working with Bree to figure out what the hangout needs. We're gonna fund some of that. So I'm working on looking for a grant for a possible English as a second language class that people have been asking for, parents at the schools have been asking for, so that's right. For the plans, yes.
Just one question about
Yes,
this, just this individual.
Yes.
Is, did they come?
Katie's for Katie.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, she's great. She's been a volunteer for a while and
Oh, okay.
has been attending the meetings a lot, which doesn't always happen. And I said, please come and join us. So yeah, she was here. She at the first day the library was open on Sunday to help serve Coco. So she's a work really girl. So okay, and that's all I have for you on me. And so the director's reports.
Okay. Sorry, it's just, I'm not as organized as I usually am today.
No,
'cause
this is totally fine. And you sent us, I know, on May 9th.
Mhm.
The
Yeah, so I can start with that. So I did send you, and I realized that spreadsheet sent kind of funny. There was like no way I could send it any other way. Unfortunately, I can see it on my screen like just fine, but basically the Q3 financials, meaning we're 75%, through the fiscal year. We're about 69% expended in all of our categories. So financially, we're doing okay. The problem with that is those numbers, that's what's been paid. It's not necessarily what's been spent. So with the nature of the billing cycle, I'm being diplomatic here, with the nature of our billing cycle right now, we have expended more than what's showing up in those Q3 financials. So if it looks light, if you're like, why aren't you buying more books, or whatever, there's just a lot of bills in the queue. But we look like we're going to be spending all of our budget. Using their projections, we might be going over in staffing, and just a little bit, but we have offsets in increased revenue that we've collected. So it'll be balancing out. We've collected a lot of revenue from room reservations, and also just by doing the printing and copying by donation versus by like 10 cents a page kind of thing. We're making more on that. So I'm not terribly concerned about anything in our finances. It'll be interesting to see how it all catches up with the fiscal year, how everything, when it catches up. I've been told the fiscal year billing, they keep it open till about August to get the books actually in line. So we'll see how that goes this year with the new financial accounting system. Does anyone have any questions on anything specific with the Q3 financial reports?
No, looks good.
Okay, and I met with Donna and Ted to start working on FY28, if you can believe it. So already, I think that was really good to start early with me being new, Donna being new. Ted had some great institutional knowledge, and we'll continue working pretty steadily on the budget, kind of piece by piece, and really, really understanding it. That's one of my goals with Jesse, and just one of my goals in general, is to really understand the budget, especially the staffing piece, and see if we have room in there to be a bit more creative and with our staffing. So really looking forward to that. I actually really like numbers and the finance kind of piece. And I feel like I've been having a lot of money meetings, money meetings with the friends and with the foundation also. And so I just feel very, really lucky to have so many avenues for supporting the library. So that's really good. If we don't have any finance pieces, I can move on to a couple of other things I want to mention. We're sending 10 staff members to the Vermont Library Association Conference, which is June 1st. So that's exciting, that 10 of our staff members, myself and 9 other staff members, will be attending.
Bree, is this the first time most of these people will have gone to that meeting, or do you think they've had so is this going to be eye-opening and should be really very engaging for them, or do you think it's...
Well, I hope so. I hope the conference will be, some folks have been to it before, some have not. I just kind of put it out there. Not everyone likes to go to conferences. What's really nice is that it's at UVM. It's at the Howe Library. And so we don't have to pay for any travel or travel time, which makes it a little bit more affordable. It's been in Killington the last couple of years. And so that's a lot of mileage and a lot of time. For some of our staff, I didn't have to say no. We hadn't expended that line item, and so I was able to kind of really say yes to everyone who wanted to go. As far as staffing wise too, we had enough people covering. Some some of our senior leadership team really wants to go to NELA, which is the New England Library Association Conference, also happening in Burlington. So they said they would stay and work, you know, versus going to that. And so I think it will be eye-opening for some of the staff. It's always nice to get out of the library to talk, even though we're a larger staff. We still have only 1 or 2 people working in each kind of role or position. So to get some new ideas, I'm letting folks go to whatever they feel drawn to, rather than trying to split it up so that we have a person at every session. You know, I think it's more productive when you choose your own path for your professional development.
The reason I'm asking partly obviously is I want to see their development. It's two is in the future as we're looking at funding.
Mhm.
Is if we see a real high return for this investment because they become, they're more empowered, they're
Right.
generating new ideas. I think we have avenues through our multiple financial resources to
Mhm.
accelerate this. So I guess one thing I'd ask you is, I know you will, so I'm stating the obvious, is take a pulse check on their engagement and what you see from it. If it's a really
Yes.
1 + 1 = 3 type of investment, I think we can find a lot of that for going forward. So I think it's great you're starting it, and I hope it does well.
Yeah. Well, we did increase the line item for staff development by $2,000 in the FY27 budget. So that went from $3,000 to $5,000. So there already was that kind of push to increase. I think that was a little bit more meant for like me if I needed anything in this role. But we're all kind of raising our professional, you know, it's been a big push for me. And in my talks with Jessie for my like review for probation, it was really something that she brought out too, how impressed she is about the professional development opportunities that staff has been getting, especially with our fire department, police department, outreach opportunities like this through the VLA. It's also really exciting. Rebecca Balint will be is one of the keynote speakers at the conference. And so she's a huge supporter of South Burlington with some infrastructure projects and, you know, just a lot of stuff. So it'll be an opportunity to say thank you to her in person for her work and be inspiring to our younger staff members.
Strategic plan too, that could be an important component of our strategic plan, saying that we have one of the top 25 was staff leadership and development. So
Yes, I was
it's
going to put my
something that we
dots on that one.
So I think if that bubbles up, you're giving us a great history as to what the value of it is that we can really do that. So great. I love hearing that.
Yeah, and I've told folks like we don't need a book report when they come back, but if there are key takeaways that they would like to present themselves at our staff meetings, we'll carve out time for that at our upcoming staff meetings for the, you know, next 6 months or something, that they can talk about something that inspired them or something like that to share with the staff that's not going to be there. Okay. And just an update, it's now officially been announced to staff. The head of our children's department, Erin Davison, is leaving. I sent you guys all that. So, but she told staff on Wednesday at our all staff meeting, and her job description has been updated. Maddie from HR and I worked on it, as well as she has seen it, and our leadership team has gone over it again. So it is ready to get posted. It's going to get posted next week, and will be up through June 22nd in all the places the city posts stuff, and then I'll be posting it in a lot of our local library job boards, listservs, those kind of things.
Would you mind sharing that with the board so we can see what?
Sure, I haven't received the official link from Maddie yet, but I will share it with the board. Yes.
And again, unless the board feels otherwise, I don't think we need to approve it or have input on it. I just want to see what what you're doing, so we understand what we can do to support that.
Right.
And I love.
You can always send it to a colleague or something if you think that they would make a great, head of the children's department. One of the major things that is going to shift with that and is that we're renaming the position Youth Services to mirror our adult services. And the position will have the Teen Services Librarian under Youth Services. So it's a little bit of change of organization ever so slightly. And it was something that we had already talked about that was in the works, but this makes it an easy transition time to do that.
It's nice that it's coming up. This is not nice that it's happening, but if this is happening, it's happening before the VLA conference. So
That was my plan.
Put a big sign out.
Yeah, I really, really wanted it posted before VLA so that people could ask questions. And it's one of the reasons that I am going to VLA. Is to be visible for people for this job to ask about it. Okay. One thing I do need, I guess I kind of need board approval for this, although I've already been in talks with the city about it. But in our policy, it does say that the board and the city have our days when we're closed. So facilities is asked that they would like to clean the carpets, which is a 2-day process, one to clean, one to dry. And we have tentatively selected the dates August 16th and 17th. August 16th is Bennington Battle Day. It is one of those tricky days that we were going to be closed on the actual day, which is a Sunday. And then the city is closed on the Monday. So that's Bennington Battle Day observed. And so the city would be closed. So we worked out with facilities that those would probably be the best 2 days to be closed because the building could be closed completely on the 17th. But just for official sake, I feel like because it says so in our policies that both the city and the board has input in our closures that you guys should say it's okay.
So I guess we should make a motion. We'll do this, we'll do it formally here,
Yeah, so it would be an additional closure on the 17th. That is the ask.
Right. I'll make a motion that the library be closed on August 17th, because it's already set to be closed on the 16th. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah. And one of the reasons it's also that is
I'll let you still the chair and then you can give it to me for the next.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll be the chair. Wait,
Oh.
all in favor?
Aye.
all right.
Thank you, Stacy. Okay.
It's kind of hard to hear like what's exactly going on. I thought you guys were done.
We're
Sorry, I
good.
didn't. Okay. One of the pieces that had to happen is the hangout project. The walls need to be complete before they clean the carpet. And so that hangout project is starting August 1st, which is exciting. So, and they estimate that to take about a week to 10 days. So it'll be done. Okay. Let's see. Another thing that is a project that has been a long time in the works that we've pretty much completed is the we did not have a streamlined uniform evaluation policy or not a policy, but form for staff. And so the leadership team and I met, we did like a little mini retreat. We met for 4 hours where you guys are sitting, and had talked to Maddie in HR before that, looked at a bunch of stuff, looked at what everyone was doing, because Sue, Aaron, and Mira were evaluating differently all of them, for their employees. And of course, I had a different opinion as well. And so we said there's 4 people evaluating staff. We should have a universal application. And now we do. So we combined the narrative that a lot of people liked with a more metric, type of approach. So it's a combination of both metric and narrative evaluation. And we'll see. Because several people's evaluations are overdue because we've been working on this process. And so we'll see how it works with them. Again, I'm not like in love with everything on there. So it could be iterative, that we could change, or if it's too long or if it's too cumbersome. But it involves everything is tied to the job description, which was not done before. It was tied to their work, but their work might not necessarily be what their job description says. Is also then a yearly chance for us to review the job descriptions, and so that they can remain up to date and relevant to the positions. So
can you change somebody's job description? Like, are you able to just to do that in the middle of?
not like on them, like suddenly you're gonna be juggling. It can grow with them. Yes, there can be like kind of a conversation and should we add this? Let's go talk to HR about this, kind of thing. We can't just suddenly say, oh, you're going to have to be like bilingual, or, you're going to have to learn this or whatever. But these roles grow and change as the people in them, as the library grows and changes, as we add new services. So, yeah. And overall, they're kind of vague anyway. So like serving the public, so how you do that can be kind of vague. Okay. And I think that is about it. I do have a couple things I'm going to bring to the governance committee, so I'll send you guys an email on the governance committee. But look forward to that. And yeah, does anyone have any questions for me?
There was one thing you mentioned in your email about what people are interested in to see in a director's update.
Yes. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah.
No, that's
what
okay.
are you?
Yeah, I don't understand. Some thoughts about
Pardon me?
that. I'm asking. I'm just trying to see if anybody has.
Well, first of all, I like seeing the way you've summarized and starting to share more data. So I don't think there's anything that I see you're specifically lacking. And I would, from my perspective, I think it's important for you to have the liberty and judgment to determine what you think it's important to discuss here, while also giving us some baseline health of the library, pulse of the library, information to make sure that we're staying to our mission and our plan. And these are the unique events around that. So if you're in that context, which it feels like you are, I'm very comfortable giving you some discretion to meet those general criteria.
I'm wondering if you guys would like a bit of a stats report every month, even if we don't go over every single stat.
Please.
Some scorecard would be great.
That would be great. Like the number of people who come in, and maybe the number of
Some like visits,
checkouts,
circulation.
Yeah.
Okay.
And,
Anything specific?
And I don't wanna get too much into the weeds, but sometimes a number without anything to compare it to isn't always helpful. Like, that how much this month, but like maybe like this, like add on to it every month so that we can see.
Yeah.
As we go along.
Like trending. Yeah.
Unless that's a lot of work, in which case.
It's a column on a spreadsheet, Donna. It's fine. We can.
Well, and I think like there's like ebbs and flows throughout the year too. So I think the year over year is also helpful. Like this time last year, what did we see?
Comparisons, right?
Yeah. Because we do keep all of this data. We keep a lot of data. It's just a matter of what you want to see. So like checkouts, visits, maybe digital use.
Library card.
Yeah.
I guess, Bree, is it possible to, I know there may be a lot, maybe this is the wrong question, is it possible to give us a list of what you, just a bulleted list of what you maintain that you think is reasonable to track? So we can see it all, make sure we can highlight it, so it's not all the data, because there could be a lot of data you're collecting, that's noise data that's maybe helpful for a specific issue. But if there's a list of saying, here are the 12 or 15 things that we can track easily, scorecard and everything, and then we could tell you, hey, number 7, we're not that interested in, but number 5, we definitely are. If you could do that, that might be helpful.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Although I think people might be more drawn to certain things than others, but I can do that. Sue has our master spreadsheet of stats, so I could even just have her copy the column. You know, that is everything that she collects. I definitely would consolidate. Like, we can tell you how many picture books were checked out every month, but you don't, but maybe you want how many books, versus board books or nonfiction or, whatever. But
Maybe books
we
by librarian of your 3 main.
yeah, like
librarians.
adult and children's books or something
Right,
like that.
and keep it within the structure of the organization to see the activities. Okay, that's great.
Bree, I was just gonna say, it really stuck with me when you shared a letter from someone who had visited the library. So I personally enjoy a little of that color, the stories, just because it just gives that kind of link to the community in a stronger way. So
Yeah.
what got you all talking in your staff meetings that was really a highlight that you would want to share with us too?
Sure. Yeah, I like the combination of kind of numbers and narrative. It really works for everyone, speaks to the roundness of the library.
And the other goal, I think, for all my history with scorecards, they have to be efficient, and the data we have in track has to be done for a reason. We don't know. I just don't want you to put data on a spreadsheet just because it's there. It has to be something that's adding value. So I think we have to start someplace, but over time, this may evolve to make it simpler. And it's, I think our favorite word lately is iterative. I think it has to be an iterative process. So start at some place and let's build.
Okay.
Or like other metrics might come up as we narrow in on our goals for the next few years. And so if there's any metrics that we learn, that we know that we have that could support, how do we measure how well we're doing towards our new strategic plan, that could be really helpful too, but we don't know that yet. Thinking of with the communication team too, like some of the work that we're doing, make communication effective. If there's things, actual metrics that we can track that kind of indicate whether we're doing a good job or not, with communication and amplification, that would be helpful.
Yeah. I think our data is also going to go through a little shift when we switch over to a different ILS. We're going to from Verso to Koha. It's just a little. We might have some blips in our data too, where we're on like 2 systems for a little bit. But yeah, definitely we can work on it. Okay. And that's what I have for you today. Thank you for letting me join via home too.
You want to continue?
No, I'm gonna hand it.
Thank you for continuing for me. I've been in a 2-hour board meeting.
Officially, yes.
So,
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let me find the agenda. I got it. Okay. It's now moving on to committee reports. Finance.
Right, I'm sorry, I didn't get this to Chris in time, so I'm just gonna read this over quick and I'll forward it. The finance committee met, on the 5th, the meeting's called to order at 11:15. Present were Brenda, Ed Lensky, Donna, and Bree. No additions or deletions to the posted agenda, no comments and questions from the public nominated. The discussion was library budget 2026-27 year to date. At the time, the third quarter update wasn't present. You subsequently received that and forwarded it. Thank you so much. 5 was discussion of library preliminary budget 27-28. Bree opened the discussion with a request for clarification of what the previous budget planning process had involved, specifically for more detail on how the librarian interacts with the board to develop the budget. Ted and Donna explained how the employee portion of the budget is built and then how the lesser amounts of general ops are put together. Ted provided a prior year grid that Brenda and Bree will be using as a framework to start brainstorming for fiscal year 27-28. As Bree is new to South Burlington Public Library this budget year, we felt this was an opportunity to look at the budget with fresh eyes. With Sunday hours added to the weekly schedule, increased staffing will be part of the proposed budget when it's completed. The city has an existing growth plan, and we're aware that that growth plan is already increasing circulation and patronage, and that increased expenses will follow. Brenda and Bree have scheduled the first work session for May 22nd, and will schedule more as needed. The discussion of foundation funds, accessibility and transfer practice. The group discussed the amount of annual funds currently being raised the foundation, estimating it approximately $30,000 annually. Donna posed a question as to whether or not the foundation could help endow a portion of the library staff. Bree was not sure how that would work within the city union framework, and tabled for further discussion. Bree reviewed some of the fiscal year 25-26 contributions from the foundation, and we will talk further about them as the year progresses. And the meeting was adjourned at 1 p.m. Does that work?
That works.
Okay.
To me.
Yes.
Okay.
Saves you cut and paste. Thanks, Brent. That was a very good meeting. Great. I appreciate your input, but I think it also, I'm sure it gave you some direction on going forward. So.
Yeah. And as Bree and I discussed coming into it, that I'm saying I was kind of like gobsmacked coming into it, because when we had met with Jennifer to go over the last fiscal year and to start to work on the budget thing, we got the top 3 quarters of the payroll, and we were told, you don't have to do anything with this. We just get handed this by the city. And we were both like, oh, okay, all right. And I kind of thought, okay, well, maybe it's a union thing, I don't.
Right. Yeah.
So when we met and Ted said, oh no, here's the framework, I think you were doing the happy dance, and I was going, yes, that makes so much more sense.
Now we have one hurdle to get over when the city looks at it.
Yeah.
You guys are hanging out at the cannabis joint too much, or whatever it is. Working out.
But it was.
Don't put that.
Not writing.
It felt like a really good meeting.
Okay. Anything else? Any other questions? All right. Communications committee. Anything to share from comms?
Well, our fearless leaders in here, we did not meet in April. So our last meeting was March 19th.
That's all you have to say.
There you go.
You did not.
Perfect.
Yeah, there wasn't anything else, Mahal, so it was quick. Governance and nominating.
All right, so there were two segments, that's right, we talked about, there are a couple different pieces. So last time at the last board meeting, we voted to eliminate mentions of recording and photography, and said, well, we'll talk about a separate policy for these. And at the governance meeting, we decided not to recommend another policy on patron photography and video recordings. We already have the patron code of conduct that prohibits disruptive behavior, and that can cover any behavior with photography and recording that we might be concerned about. So if a patron is feeling uncomfortable, then they can come to the staff. And this way, staff does not have to be which is not their job, does not need to be policing, you know, our kids taking pictures of each other, you know, our various little kind of innocuous things. So we decided that rather than adding a separate policy, that really this is all that we need, is that one disruptive behavior piece.
I think it's fair to say it was a pretty robust conversation between all of us, and I think we started with drafts of policies that all of us came and I think by the end had talked ourselves out quite comfortably. I mean, that was all we really talked about at the meeting, and really came back to the statement in the code of conduct of the disruptive behavior.
Right. And we looked at the Brownell Library policy, and it was incredibly detailed. It was if this, then that. You can take pictures outside, but only if you do that. There was a lot, and so just having the one kind of overarching, do not disturb people principle. And one other thing we talked about at the last Board of Trustees meeting, there was a suggestion that we should add some language to the child safety policy. We talked for a while about medical emergency involving a child and what the staff should do, and this also we talked about a lot, and the staff is not in the position of a parent or a guardian or a daycare, childcare worker or a nurse. And if there's a medical emergency, then they call 911. As Bree said, they're trained to know that this is part of the team. The medical professionals are part of the team. They're right down Dorset Street, so they get here quickly. So that the library staff is not asked to do something that is not within their purview. We did not add anything to the child safety policy.
Do our policies start when somebody walks in the door? So like if there's disruptive behavior right outside the library?
You're referring to today? I hear there's some disruptive
Today was
behavior.
horrible, and those kids almost, they ran out in front of me and I almost hit them with my car and it scared me to death. Those same kids were running through the lobby on Tuesday, screaming at the top of their lungs, and Mira came out and said they were disturbing the library, and of course they had a smart ass remark, like, I'm not in the library, oh, I don't know who that was, like, swear, what do we do?
Yeah.
I mean, I actually called the non-emergency police line because I almost hit those kids. Yeah.
I think that's, you know, that's what needs to be. We can't control behavior outside the library.
No.
It is really hard. If they're out on the sidewalk, we can't control that behavior. So if a citizen sees behavior they feel is unsafe, whether it's children or adults, you know, then I think calling the non-emergency dispatch line is exactly what should be happening. They're
outside City Hall, they're outside Senior Center. There are a lot of places that sidewalk is outside of Burlington government.
Yeah, I mean, it does. And those kids were asked to leave. We have an internal incident report and records. We're keeping them every day when we ask those kids to leave. We have contacted the middle school to try and get partnership with them so we can use the same words that maybe they're hearing at middle school. We haven't had a lot of success with that. We did a staff training on Wednesday on these exact topics, with, you know, Erin leading that, like, middle school, like, what are they really looking for acceptance, looking for connection, looking for various things. And, you know, they're going about it in middle school really bad ways. And I know that we ask them to leave and then they can come back the next day. We can't trespass like children. And so it's tricky. It's really tricky because they're children. If these were adults, it's a little bit easier.
One of the kids my daughter recognized from RMCS, they said she was in 4th grade. So it's not just middle school, they're young.
Yeah. Oh, there for a while they had a kindergartner with them as well. And so like that was a challenge. Now we only see kind of that core group. I mean, we're also not carding kids. Kids don't carry like IDs and things like that. So it's relationship building. We have built a good relationship with a couple of the kids that were giving us some trouble and have seen success, but they're in middle school, so they're going to need reminders like a lot. Our youth services or kids services team is really aware of who they are. We have some internal communications about like if they're in a place they shouldn't be, and but the hallway in and of itself is a problem. And I have talked to city leadership about this and several departments that, this falls heavily on facilities as well. The town clerk's office. And, it is my hope, and there was some forward movement for a citywide, or city hall wide policy. That would be ideal for situations like this, where something, if we take someone out of the library and they sit in the hallway, we as the library can control the library. And if it impacts the library, like if people are in front of the door, if they're being really loud and the noise is coming in, we can go out there and ask them to like calm down, quiet down. But right now we're feeling a little frustrated at this situation as well. So I think the more community members bring this up to dispatch or to the city, then I think that's good.
Good, I'm on it.
Yeah, so
So I mean that is ideally like it'd be great. But I do know that when we approach the middle school, they're like, yeah, we're aware of that group. It seems to be a group that's on a lot of people's radar. I am hopeful they're choosing to come to the library, and when they are here, when they have been engaged, they've been fine, but then they have been asked to leave many, many times. And some of the kids are like, sorry, and they're not coming anymore. That used to be a much bigger group. And so I think it's narrowed down. They also like to what did they call me the other day? They called me cruddy. Like they're
Oh my gosh.
it's kind of funny because I wouldn't let them in the building on Saturday after we were closed. They were hanging out right by the door and trying to get in, and I was like, "Nope, guys, the building's closed."
Yep.
And they would step in so that the door would open so it wouldn't lock. Like so I stood out there with like 5 minutes with them, and I was like, "I'm gonna just stay here," And finally, they moved on. It wasn't fun for them anymore. But I also taught middle school, and so I have a higher tolerance for middle school than people. But Whitney, I think you did the exact thing.
I have one question on the video policy.
oh, yes, please, yes.
The lack of a video policy, I get the whole reason, that makes complete sense. The one blind spot, I'm a little, and maybe you can talk to, I'm sure you had a discussion on it, is if the action is disruptive and everything, I get it. If the action is secretive, but eventually becomes public, and there's no standard out there stating a general video policy that something like that. So if someone is recording someone privately and then that gets out easily, there's no, and I don't know how we police it, but it's more of notification of patrons.
Lots of one party's consent.
So, okay, and that, right. So I just want to make sure we have it covered, and it sounds like we do. It just feels like something could happen, and then we're gonna be back in the same setting.
But it could happen
And we don't.
anywhere.
Anywhere.
And so we wrestled with
We
this
wrestled with
a lot,
that.
and I'm not saying
I know,
we wrestle with it again.
Yeah,
no,
But I just
I
think
knew you
that
probably
that,
did, I just
you know,
wanted in my mind.
kids would do that at school or something, and there's not
At the
or
park,
you could do it, right, and
mall,
Right.
there is no guarantee privacy,
privacy.
right? And I could be doing my thing and you could just be behind it, like the kids
Right.
come in and like Bree talked about the
Right.
selfies. people like to take pictures by the clock.
Yeah.
There's lots of things.
Yep.
people have-
I'm good.
Yeah, no, it was, yeah,
totally agree with you.
Yeah, I'm out of town for that.
no, no.
You guys-
We were all ready to go, and
It's great, I think you worked it through.
we totally, cause at one point I was like, I think we're talking ourselves out of a policy.
And I'm all for that, I just wanna make sure that there's gonna be a Swiss cheese scenario where everything's gonna follow the right holes, and they shouldn't come out.
It is.
And if it falls in that context, then that's a situation.
Right,
where
and
we
you can't
play
create
that.
policy for the Swiss cheese holes,
Right.
I don't think,
Yeah.
I mean, you can try, but.
Well, go back to what you said, it happens in Brownell, that they have so much, you can,
You-
if then yourself
You
integrate.
can't plug everything.
Staff, it would have been unfair to give
Yeah.
that staff to give a super detailed policy. to the
I that was giving me anxiety as to like how we would enforce this.
Makes sense. Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for all the work you did on
Great.
that, 'cause that's. Okay. All right, anything else for governance and nomination? I have one request, maybe of the board, but it's probably in the governance and nomination. There are open board seats. I did ask Jessie for some input of the library board into that process. She was very polite and pushed me towards the city council because Jessie does not have any involvement. So that was great.
Yep.
Tom has not responded to me yet about that.
Tim,
Tim, sorry.
Tim. Maybe because you called him Tom. No, I'm just kidding.
So Tim hasn't responded. I feel like I want to take the initiative because it's starting May 20th. Oh, Bree, you have your hand up. Go ahead.
I do. So Jesse and I talked about this in our one-on-one that we had this week. And she was going to poke Tim again to respond back because she does think that she wants the library board to know that she thinks it's a good idea, or like that, but it's best worked with city council. Since the library board doesn't have, I'm kind of like your leader, your employee rep, a liaison, but it's not formal. And so she felt that it would be best if our library chair and the chair of city council came together for that discussion, rather than going through her, because all she would do would be parroting what Ted said to Tim and Tim to Ted, so that was, she's in support of this idea, but would like it to be done directly. So she is going to resend that message to Tim.
So I was considering here for the board to consider is, are there a few bulleted items that you think we ought to discuss here that I can include once Tim either pings me or I ping Tim, because Jesse's given me the window to ping him too. I've just been respectful because it's city council and they got a crap load of stuff. So short, is there anything from the governance and nomination committee specifically you can think of, or from us as a board as just high level, do we want someone with marketing experience?
Yes.
Okay, is that one of the key points? I love our board. I think we're very diverse. I think we bring all these perspectives. So I really like the blend of it. So I'm not even sure what I would tell them.
Yeah, right.
But I want input. This is really trying to open the door to make sure. So I want it to be effective. So he looks at it and says, well, they didn't tell me anything. It's really useless. I want to tell him something.
Right.
So if you could give me a few, or give me a few off, I don't want to do it offline because it's public, but if you have anything, please share. So marketing is the biggest one I was going to emphasize. Is there any diversity in our group? I can't believe I'm saying this. I would love another male
Yeah.
on this. I mean, but I'm the only male and I've never said that line. But I think that would be helpful. Any skills of the people we have.
I mean, other diversity too, right? Like not just gender.
So
Yeah.
already all the diversity things, so diversity.
I think it's important that the person uses the library or like uses it in a maybe diverse way, like a digital user only, or a but has awareness of the library.
Yeah.
So-
Good evening, folks. It's now 6:30.
The library will be closing for 30 minutes at 7 o'clock. As a reminder, the public is usually shut down by 6:45, and no new library cards will be issued after that time. Please browse accordingly, and thank you for visiting the library.
So hopefully, to your question, the one conversation I was gonna have with him was that for people who are reapplying, they ought to talk to the chair of the committee and have a discussion, to be a part of that process, to reaffirm that the people who are applying are adding value to the committee. And that's the chair's, one of the roles I think a chairperson has, is to do that. And if there's like, they haven't attended many meetings, or they haven't been very engaging, and I've had a conversation with them, and I've done the due diligence, and they're just not responding. We don't have that issue on this board, but I think I would simplify, and I would hope they would see it that way, that they can go to city council saying, I've talked to the chair. They're good with the people who are reapplying, we trust this chair, we trust, so to help make their process, but I'm sure he's had that opinion, but I can
So
reemphasize.
do the re-applicants go into the same pool
Yes.
as
I have to re-interview. I got
And-
offered 2 interviews.
You have to wait and do that,
I
and
apply.
it
Yeah.
usually,
Same.
they kind of get a heads up, I think, in the city council mind, is they're still, they just want to do what the show, they're still.
Yeah.
But it's still the monotony in the process to do, if you're re-upping, and everyone's good with it.
Or maybe we could have a referral system where we're like, hey, you know, they jump the line a little bit.
So that is a
because,
discussion I can have with
you know,
them either
is
through this.
it really
or-
efficient? Use of our
I think the nominating committee, I feel like was
Yeah.
all, the governance and nomination.
Right, yes, but I don't
Yeah,
do
But
anything.
it doesn't, one year we did, they were like, nice first.
Rebecca,
Yeah. Yes.
just wanted to say, sorry, I don't know if everybody could hear me.
Yeah,
I've done
Yes.
work with city council before, the applications, and we have received the applications in the past. It is something where we can say, here is our gut check and this is what we would like, but the final decision is the city. So I think as much as Ted can text or call Tim, and Ted, you can ping me and I can help you with that part. Then it's just good for us to recognize that as much as we can say, here's what we're looking for, they will have the final results.
Yeah.
Yes.
I was just gonna say, I mean, I don't, it just as a help, as a question to be asked, is just to have an understanding of the new person's, you know, have they ever served on a board, and do they understand? Not that that's a requirement, but that it's helpful, you know, to understand that meeting attendance is important in contributing, and that it's a broader commitment, I guess.
Okay. I think I got enough feedback. If something comes to you after that, you're on your old fashioned or whatever it is, let me know. Okay.
I will say that if, and I don't know who exactly is applying, sometimes it's difficult if they're in the library profession. So having a librarian on the board sometimes is not an asset, and sometimes it is. I'll say that sometimes people want to, like, you know, micromanage the library from the board. So
And I think we want the.
I
board-
think, I just
we
wanted to
want this
put that
board
out
to
there.
be very transparent and functional too.
Yes, yeah.
But we want to keep it as lively and as effective as I think we are, so.
Yeah.
Anything for governance nominee? Okay. Strategic plan though. So, I'm gonna hand out your grids of ideas.
I have it all,
So
so.
super.
Can I pause?
You can,
We don't have Marty, Holly, Stacy in person.
correct.
Are we gonna have them do this with?
So I have asked them to vote.
Okay.
So they all, I've gotten actually Holly's votes and Stacy's
Well,
votes.
I just, okay, I just want to request their voices.
Correct, and now, once I found out Margie and Margie weren't coming
Yeah.
today, I will get that to them to get their votes. And today, all we're doing is voting. What I'm gonna do is, we can discuss a little bit, but I wanna compile it all, and then the next step is, here are the top ones that all feel right. And then what are we building as the key strategic plan things? That'll be our June and July discussions. And then August, we should refine it, in September, that's the magic rollout. So we can do this 2 ways. I've done it 2 ways too. We can do it privately. Or we can do it, we used to put it up on the walls. I didn't do that.
Our way or the easy.
And then
way.
everything, you can see what people are doing and have discussions about that. So I think what we can do, because I did not prepare the wall, everyone does it here, and then we can have a small discussion, because I do want to respect Stacy's, Holly's, Marty's, and Margie's input.
And can I,
Correct.
Ted, can I send them to you too? It just seems weird to do this on,
Absolutely, please do. So you have to do it, right? So you get 20 check
20.
marks.
Yeah, and do we have to use all 20? That was a question I
You
had.
don't have to use all 20,
Yes.
but to the supporting of democracy. I would hope if you
Right.
have something, just proportional it to get 20, so your weight of your vote feels equal to other people.
Yeah.
So if you said, I only see 5 in these, then double it to 10. So like 5 and 5, double it to 10, just do it. Everyone gets 20 votes. So I say for the next few minutes, start doing check marks in private, and then let's have a small discussion to share to see if we're on base, and I can share Holly's. You can sign
Sarah,
it.
can you confirm, Stacy, would like to know you've received hers?
I did receive
Okay.
Stacy's. Yep.
Yes.
Thank you, Stacy.
Yes.
Thank you for being Stacy's.
Are there any extra pins? I switched backpacks
I
tonight.
know, it's safe.
I've already had to borrow, yeah, I'll
Okay.
done in one.
Saying a cheap library pencil for you.
Oh, no, I have,
Do you ever?
I have,
Okay.
I have really.
I mean, oh, here's one.
Oh, yeah, I was hoping to impress everybody with my.
Oh, wow.
My
Wow.
collection.
Everybody, yes, wrong person.
My streamers.
Not like shop.
Now also, as you're doing this, if you see some still subgroupings
Great.
that you think are really lumped, Holly, when I go through Holly, she grouped 2 or 3 together and gave like a bunch of votes. So this was to try and not lose anything. We are gonna have to consolidate. So if you see something, put a Venn diagram type of circle around and give that 2 votes.
We can double vote.
You can put all 20 in one box if that's what you think is, and the reason that we allow you to do that, if there's something you really think we ought to focus on, you can put a lot of weight behind it. Obviously, when we get to the point, if there is, we're going to really come up with a plan, but it's the ability to give you a little bit of ability to emphasize something that you think's important. And I would really suggest not doing 20 individual votes. I think it is important to maybe double up on you. That's historically how I've seen it. it's tough because they're all good.
They're all good, right? Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things we have to do is this is a strategic plan view, so you got to.
It's funny that when we look at this first, I see two things in particular, I'm just like, oh yeah, I want that, but then when we put it all out, I thought, I don't know now if that's a trustee thing,
Yeah.
you know, that my kaleidoscope shifted.
Right.
Remember this, the goal here is the strategic plan for the next 3 to 5 years of the board of trustees. It's a very high level thing, and when we have, this is just steering a big ship, nudging it, it's not being too tactical. But it's giving Bree some direction, the city some direction as to where we think our heads are at. And eventually, I'd probably like to present it to city council to make sure that they're all nodding.
I was advised, Ted, in our strategic planning, if we kind of look, once we kind of focus it down a little bit, we look to the city plan and kind of try and align like if you're speaking to city council, tell them, you know, I'd like to do city plan. This aligns with city plan goal
Good point.
25 or whatever.
That would probably help make it show the we're working well, meshing together. That's very good point.
I'm gonna send you mine right now, Ted.
Okay. All
I
right.
just did it here at home.
South Burlington or the Yahoo? You can.
Which one would you?
Whichever
I'm sending it to you. Which email would you prefer?
Do the South Burlington one.
Okay. The T. Linsky.
Yep. Nice. I know, I was thinking. Let me know when you kind of have some time. Okay. All the pencils are in hand, I'll say. When you're ready, put your pen down and that'll be my cue. If your pen is still in your hand, I'm quite comfortable with that right now.
This hard. But it's like when you were talking about with Brent with the policy that yes, if this has a whole evolution, it's like it's so important, so important.
So I'm gonna give each of you a couple minutes to maybe share what you kind of did in general, and then I'll put it all together so we don't. So I want everyone to disclose a little bit where their heads are at and where they thought. So if someone would love to go first, or I can go.
Sure. I mean, I'm seeing some sort of the marketing buckets and what that all looks like, what could fall under that. I guess I did little dots connecting pieces together, the sort of overall strategy, vision, what falls under that, what's the brand, what are the selling points, a lot of things under there, I thought. That are important, and then just overall access as a bucket, I guess that's how I was thinking. And then
Which ones did you put into that?
So I had, you know, social service needs for patients, support for those in need, reaching out to underserved programs, evolving community needs. Mostly that, and when I say access, I'm
Good
thinking
evening,
very
folks.
much
It is now
about
6:45.
patrons.
The library will be closing in 15 minutes at 7 o'clock. If you have any materials you plan on checking out today.
The others, some of the others are a little more tactical to me, so I keep wanting to have bigger buckets that are connected to, as Bree just said, the strategic vision for this, like all of that being aligned, so.
Alright.
And
And then, okay, I'll vote, should we go in a circle?
I'm ready.
Okay, I'm ready. So I think the space and I put the space and the digital collections each with a few check marks. I feel like those are the resources that we can try to help keep as great as they are and get better. And staff competence and leadership. And the staff is really everything. I put 5 marks there. And evolving community needs, I put the most. I feel like that is similar to engaged community and also reaching out to underserved, because it's find out what the community needs, like the whole community, and how to engage people and have appropriate things for everybody. So.
Thank you. Right.
I was with you also heavy on library space, digital, staff competence, sustainability. I also engaged community, marketing, staff turnover and the workload I worry about just with, all the other pressures. I threw a couple onto youth and teen engagement, and I felt really when you were talking today about, you've got little monsters running through the building, but if you know their name and you can make any kind of, that same kid may come in 6 years from now and say, Ms. Cruddy, can you help me with my term paper? And it's a joke between you because you've established a relationship and ideally he or she will have learned better manners by then. But those same young kids engaged properly could become teenagers and could bring their kids here, and that we're an aging state, and if we make some inroads here on a younger population, that can only help us going forward. So those were kind of where I was pointing at.
I'll share Holly's. Holly kind of grouped community needs and social service needs, patrons as one, and put a pretty big 5 votes in that bucket. Then she looked at city growth, city support, budget constraints as a 3 vote. And her last couple were youth and teen engagement, marketing strategy, federal government intervention, and staff competence, kind of all at an equal level. So she probably had like 4 or 5 categories where she put her even amount of votes, with the most emphasis on the supporting community needs, evolving community needs and social service needs. Stacy, I can share yours if you're still, I can share.
That'd be great. Yeah, that'd be great.
Okay. Big emphasis on the library space and building. She thinks that's our space will need to grow, so we need to be constantly aware of that from a strategic level. City support and engagement. We have to make sure we're engaging with the city and how we do that right. And I think obviously the connection to the city plan is part of that. And the other big emphasis that Stacy did was on evolving community needs. So I think, as Stacy, you've exemplified over the years, understanding what the community needs is has been part of your probably main thing. One of the things you've always remind us of. So I think making sure as our community is evolving and changing, we're dynamic to that. So, and another comment, they're all important, but we have to make some tougher calls. For me, I think the marketing thing was important. I think some of that could be solved by getting the right people on the board, just some experience with that. I do think that the needs, the evolving community needs, the support, that's important. I think the youth team one, that's important. That's a connection I think is an important part of our community, and we need to be getting that. Staff is part of that. I had digital and AI a little bit. I think AI is not for our level of a strategic discussion, but I think it's something that everyone has in mind, and we just, how quickly it's evolving may force us to bring it up when its time is right, but we can't lose sight on it. So I think AI is in the wings. It may not be strategic now, but it's coming quick. So that's one.
Alright, so I put most of mine in 5 different categories. So my biggest ones were social service needs for patrons, I put 5 there. And then 5 on staff turnover and workload. It seems like the staff is doing an amazing job and they've got a really, really tough job. And then I kind of circled with the staff turnover and workload, circled staff competence and leadership with that, because I think that's something that can help like keep them engaged in what they're doing as long as they're learning and growing, but I don't know, I could be wrong about that, but and then I have 4 on evolving community needs. I considered like bucketing that with social service needs, but I think it could be different because we've got like our actual growing city center and like just South Burlington changing overall. I think that could be something different than the social service needs. So I've got 4 there, and then I've got 3 each in youth teen engagement and marketing strategy and vision.
Thank you.
You, match feet. I was like, oh my god. Making my own notes. Yes, I think the only place, I put the city growth and paid parking under that, evolving community needs, but I think that's. What, it might not be strategic and it might be in the weeds, but it's gonna be something I think we're gonna end up talking about.
Bree, would you like to share yours?
Sure. Let me just get my screens here. I think, looking at things that I did more heavily, is evolving community needs. To me, that is more the library's place than like social service needs, a specific. I think evolving community needs could be a lot of things that we could work on. So that one spoke to me more than some of the other things that might be outside our wheelhouse. But in partnership with that, I also heavily picked partnerships because I think if we're going to do good and more and diverse work here at the library, we're going to need to strengthen our partnerships with a lot of organizations. I also those each had like 3 check marks or 3 yeses. Youth and teen engagement was also really high on mine with 3 check marks, and staff competence and leadership too, as well as supporting, our staff. That got 3 from me as well. And then also I said signature event. Several people have been like, what's the signature event there? And I think that a signature event could go a long way in building some of these community needs and partnerships. I think of like Illuminate. Is that going to be like, are we in with that as our signature event, or, do we have something else? Is there a soiree, a gala, or whatever, or a festival? So something to think about. Marketing and strategic vision. And engaged community, like for the ones that just got 1, it was library card accessibility, because I'm going to get that library card online, digital collections, and engaged community. So I think we're really lucky. You guys hit it on the head with our space and like our place in the community, but I do think that we need to do everything possible to keep our space looking nice as well. So I agree with 100% with those of you who mentioned space. So, yeah.
Right.
Oh, sorry, I'm relaying a message. Stacy did not choose staff items because she feels that's covered in working with the city. We are supervisors and staff, and she feels very strongly about that. Did I do a good job, Stacy?
Okay, so next step, not any more tonight. If you could give me your sheets, or if you want to make a copy of them, take a picture of it so you know what you have. I'm gonna take these and file them. And then next month, we will start building our thing. So, I have nothing else for Chichi. Any other business? As of 6:55, the meeting is adjourned. 6:55. We did. And thank you for pushing. I was, I wish.